We begin with a look inside Chicago's United Center, where the DNC is getting underway today. This week, Vice President Kamala Harris will officially accept her party's nomination to run for president. A CBS News YouGov poll shows she has a 3-point lead nationally over her Republican rival, former President Donald Trump. Tonight, President Biden will deliver a keynote address at the event. Just weeks ago, he was the one preparing to accept the Democratic nomination. Now, he's looking to cement his legacy and focus on promoting Harris's bid for the White House. CBS News campaign reporter Aaron Navarro is in Chicago covering this convention. According to CBS News polling, Aaron, only 64% of voters polled say they know what Harris stands for. That's opposed to 86% who know Trump. How does Harris plan to define herself this week?
Lindsay, good to be with you. I'm here at Demapalooza, essentially an expo for the party at McCormick Place, where a lot of the party's daytime activities will be. In terms of Harris and this week, it's two things. It's the contrasts between herself and former President Trump on this broad theme of freedom, and they loop in things like reproductive freedom, economic freedom as things that they will lean on, looking at Harris's record as Attorney General in California, as Vice President, and of course, as Senator of California. But they're also looking to define the future. Harris, of course, unveiled her economic plan in North Carolina last weekend and can expect her and supporters, surrogates, to talk about that and really pitch and sell Democrats on what that plan entails.
What message is President Biden looking to get across in tonight's speech, and is it significant that he won't be there the rest of the week?
It's really a passing of the torch, it seems. This whole day, we've been told leading up to this week, is sort of a dedication to President Biden and his agenda. Delegates here getting in their tote bags Cup of Joe coffee mugs. During his speech, it's expected that President Biden will lean on his legacy, what he's been able to do in his decades of public service. The First Lady will be introducing him, plenty of supporters, and then he's expected to go on a family vacation starting tomorrow, really indicating and showing to the party faithful that this is now Harris's party to lead and election to win in November.
Last night, the Democratic National Committee lit up Trump Tower in Chicago with messages, including one that said Project 2025 HQ. Has the DNC said anything about this? And what do those messages that they were projecting portend about their messaging throughout the week?
Yeah, the Democratic National Committee did put out a statement saying they were responsible for those projections, really aptly, directed at Trump Tower here. And the messages that were projected honed in on Project 2025. That's the conservative agenda Trump has tried to distance himself away from, but does have ties to his former staffers, to his running mate, J.D. Vance, as they argue a second term for him could be, in their words, more dangerous for the country. So they're really leaning in on that with messages projected on Trump Tower in both English and Spanish last night. And they've been doing that a lot with billboards, really targeting Trump in these big-scale events.
Aaron Navarro, thank you. Don't forget, our special coverage of the Democratic National Convention kicks off with a special edition of America Decides, live from Chicago at 5 Eastern this evening. The Republican ticket also has a busy week ahead. The Trump campaign will be holding a series of events in battleground states this week. The campaign will kick things off in the key state of Pennsylvania with a rally later this afternoon. And then later this week, Trump will make stops in Michigan, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. Meantime, Republicans are urging Trump to stick to the issues.
Any other Republican candidate would be winning this race by 10 points. And so the message is very clear. If you stick to the issues, if you stick to what matters, this should be an easy race for Donald Trump.
President Trump can win this election. His policies are good for America. And if you have a policy debate for president, he wins. Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election.
CBS News campaign reporter Jake Rosen is in York, Pennsylvania, where the former president will hold a campaign stop later today. I mean, Jake, is there any indication that people within the campaign are privately urging Trump to do this as well? It's often said Trump is who he is.
Absolutely, Lindsay, and thank you for having me on. I'm here right next to where Donald Trump will be speaking in York about his economic plans, and this is something that the campaign has tried to really triple down now on trying to counter Vice President Harris's plan that was rolled out Friday, but also to make sure the American people know what Donald Trump stands for on the economy. Now, obviously, Trump has been in the public sphere for 8+ years, and people know kind of his slogans, but the campaign has really tried to have Trump, like he did Saturday in Wilkes-Barre, kind of double down and tell people exactly what he plans on doing. And we'll really see whether it kind of turns into really one of those rallies to a smaller crowd like Donald Trump has done lately, or it is a strictly messaging event here in York.
What policies did he put forth on Saturday?
Well, he talked about how the allegations that Democrats have made against him that he wanted to raise taxes for the middle class. He says he wants to keep his tax cuts, but he also doubled down on calling for tariffs, which is something that Democrats have repeatedly criticized him for. He said that they're a tax on other countries, which is not necessarily true. But, this kind of comes as Trump also makes this argument, as it's kind of unfolding over the last couple of days, that everything Vice President Harris has promised, she's had over 1,300 days to do. Why hasn't she done it already? Is kind of what Donald Trump said to the audience of thousands in Wilkes-Barre this weekend. But also, I expect a little bit more of that here today in a place that voted for him by over 10% both times he ran for office.
Now, when it comes to his economic plan, the Harris campaign released a statement calling for the Trump-Vance ticket to disavow raising costs for the middle class, speaking about his tariff plan, saying that his tax cuts benefit the wealthy. How is the Trump campaign responding?
Well, like I said, Donald Trump did call into question everything Kamala Harris accused him of and said that every time she opens her mouth, it's a lie. Now, obviously, that's not necessarily true, but we'll see how Donald Trump kind of counters that today. I would expect he goes after kind of what he talked about on Saturday, which was all of these promises might sound great. Donald Trump admitted as much. He said you have to make sure that you tell your friends and family that while this child tax credit and kind of these economic boosters that Vice President Harris proposed, they're not free and they have to be paid for somehow. We'll see whether Donald Trump can convey that today here in Pennsylvania.
Jake Rosen, thank you.